Hi, welcome to this episode of Industry Voice. Today we have Marques Ogden on our show. Did I pronounce your name right?
You did, Jeff. Thank you very much, my friend.
Awesome. So just a backstory for our audience. I was interviewing a couple of cool guests for our show, and they were like, you got to get Marques on, you got to get Marques on. So what did I do? I reached out to you and I said, hey, let's get on the pod, let's get on the recording, and let's tell our audience who Marques is.
Love it, man. Love it.
I'm turning the mic over to you and just share our story. And you are a speaker. You're going to be
Mhm.
speaking coming up at the biggest Insurtech event of the year, Insurtech ITC Vegas. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting in person. And I'm going to turn the mic over to you and you can just tell us your story.
Appreciate you, Jeff. So I'm Marques Ogden. I'm from Washington, D.C. I live in Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. It's about half hour from Raleigh, North Carolina, our state capital. I am a dad of two girls. I'm a girl dad. I have a 20-year-old stepdaughter who is a rising junior. I mean, what am I saying? She's a junior at NYU studying nursing. And I have a 10-year-old. I am divorced, but like I tell everybody, I divorced my stepdaughter's mother, not her. I've been in her life since she was 8 and I'm not going anywhere. So that's the kind of person I am. When I'm in with somebody, I'm loyal, I'm in, and I'm in. So love my girls. I'm really excited about what they're doing. So again, one from Washington, D.C., went to Howard University in Northwest D.C. I got a full football scholarship to play for the Bison, which was amazing, Jeff, because my dad played for the Bison as well in the late 60s, early 70s. He and I are the only father and son in Howard's Athletic Hall of Fame. My dad went in for shot put on the track team. I went in for football as an individual player. I had a phenomenal time at Howard. It was great. Got to see my family, got to play in front of my family, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, my brother, who was playing for the Ravens. At the time, he was the Ravens' first draft pick ever in 1996. And from Howard, right, Jeff, I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was so fortunate because I knew our head coach, Jack Del Rio, for many years. He was the linebacker coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and then he was the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. And he got his first head coaching job with the Jaguars in '03. I was drafted by them, had an amazing experience, loved the game. But I'm going to tell your audience, Jeff, what Jack told us when I was a 22-year-old rookie. In life, be your own CEO, be your own chief executive officer. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what to do, where to go, where to be. You need to be self inspired, right, Jeff, to go out and do things for yourself and go out and try to be early what you do, stay late, work hard, all these things that make you who you are as a person. So hearing that from Jack when I was 22 years old, it made such a huge impression on me. I am going to use it when I do speaking for the rest of my life because it applies no matter what industry, insurance or finance, it doesn't matter. You have to be your own CEO. Had a great NFL career, got out of the NFL, got into construction. After about 6 months, Jeff, I was really in a dark place. When I left the NFL, I had no football. Our father just passed away at a young age. He was only 57, very suddenly. And I was not doing well with the adjustments. I got hooked on nightlife, alcohol, gambling, all things you could think of bad because I had no purpose. I had no direction. Finally, got into construction, built a very successful company called Caden Premier Enterprises. We became the largest African American owned subcontractor in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland in like earthwork, site work, grading, concrete, demolition, you name it. We used a ton of insurance, tons for all of our equipment, my people, my office, our personal belongings, our work belongings. So we understood how important it was to have insurance and take care of our stuff. And we were very fortunate, right? Jeff built a massively successful business. But unfortunately, Jeff, as the company grew, my ego grew right along with it. And when that happened, it got so inflated. It got so huge, right, Jeff? My ego, It got bigger than the good part of my soul, and it popped. And in 2013, Jeff, I lost everything. I spent about $3 million doing some work for a client. When the client and the owner and the developer denied my change order, the bank, 2 days, Jeff, before Christmas in 2012, December 23rd, 2012, they called me about 7:30 at night and they told me, Jeff, Marcus, we are shutting down your lines of credit. We are going to be coming back to get our equipment. We're shutting you off in every aspect. And come January, we're going to be coming after you personally. That was absolutely, Jeff, horrifying. So at that
Wow.
moment, I knew that Christmas, Jeff, I knew within a week or two after that, the bank was coming. So I did everything I could to get myself ready, positioned. I had to foreclose on my home, lost it. Bank took it back. Got down to Raleigh in April 2013. When I got here, Jeff, within a week, both cars were repossessed in the same day. Boom, boom, taken off the lot. I have $400 to my name. And when I got to Raleigh, Jeff, I was a bankrupt, broke, almost homeless, broken mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I was literally just a shell of myself. I was just literally, Jeff, walking and just flailing through life with no purpose, no passion, no direction. And then my life changed for the better after some more struggles. But when I got to Raleigh in 2013, April, I was bankrupt, broke, again, almost homeless. And I was literally, Jeff, down to my last $400.
As a podcaster, when I just hear all the things you just dumped, that is a lot of things you've gone through. And some of those things, if you're a builder, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a builder,
Mhm.
everybody falls sometime. And you're not on this podcast today because you fell. You're on this podcast today because you got back up. So I'm looking forward to hear the next part of the story. But man, like you're saying those stories, it brought back memories. I had two hard falls, and everything you just said was some deep memories back.
Mhm. Oh, it's everything, man. It's huge. It's huge. And here's the thing, right? So when I got to Raleigh, okay, I still had a massive ego. Okay, Jeff. I was like, man, it's the developer's fault. It's that and this. And I was blaming everybody but Marcus, right? So I was working at Merrill Lynch for a short time. I got fired after 2 months, all my fault. I got a construction job the next day. A guy in the gym I knew had a masonry contracting company. He had a sales store, needed somebody to help sell equipment to different people, different subcontractors. I said, man, that's me. He gave me a company truck, company phone, gave me $1,000 cash and said, man, here you go, Marcus. Let's get after it. Boom, boom, boom. Well, he fired me 5 days later. The store was not doing well long before I got there. So he said, Marcus, sorry, boom, you're out of a job. So I started doing football training, Jeff, just to make ends meet. I ended up not making enough, but one of my clients had a janitorial business. And she said, Marcus, I'm looking to hire anybody that you know to work for me on the graveyard shift. I'm paying $8 an hour. I said, well, when can they start? Because I couldn't get any jobs, right? I went to Target, went to all these places, overqualified, underqualified, not this, not that. I mean, I heard it all. So the job I took was a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour on the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. And you know what, Jeff? That job was the best thing that ever happened to me because I still didn't take accountability. I still didn't take responsibility until I had my rock bottom moment. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are at rock bottom, there's only one place to go, and that's up. And you have to be real with yourself and say, you got yourself here. No matter what happens, you think might have happened, you had some part to play in it. Just like me, I did a bunch of extra work, Jeff, for a client that I trusted. I did it on a handshake. I didn't get it in writing or signed because I was very arrogant, I was very naive, and I was very pompous. And so that cost me. And that's what got me to that rock bottom moment when somebody's trash, maggot-filled garbage got all over me at 4:30 in the morning, throwing the trash in the trash dump. And I didn't see there was a rip on the front side of the back. It was pitch black at 4:30 in the morning. And that trash can image, Jeff, you're going to see it when I speak in Vegas. Because I went to do the reenactment photo of that exact same trash can. And Jeff, I will go to downtown Raleigh about once a month to look at that trash can for about 15 minutes and sit there and say, wow, Marques, about 11 years ago, you were sitting on that curb. There's no Yukon Denali XL SLT truck you have now. There's no home that you have out in Fuquay over $500,000 that you have now. There's no business. There's no podcast. You were there by yourself. And what happened, Jeff, is I realized at that moment, no knight on a white horse was coming to save me. Nobody was coming to save me. If it was going to be saved, it had to be by me and myself. And that's when I went home and said, man, I want to start speaking to help others learn from my mistakes. Started speaking in September 2013, didn't get a paid job for 2.5 years. 2.5 years, 30 months, Jeff, not one paid job. Finally got my first paid job, April 2016, Miller Mock College. Got trained, got coached in 2018 through a program called NAPSA, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. And that, Jeff, gave me what I needed to then rise into the speaking realm at a higher value-driven perspective. And in the last 8 years, we've spoken for over 65 Fortune 500 brands, over 65. I'm a 4-time best-selling author, twice by myself, twice as a co-author. I own different businesses. I'm a brand ambassador. We have a very successful podcast called Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. I interviewed yesterday 3 celebrities. I interviewed Scott Page from Pink Floyd. I interviewed Sebastian Bach, the lead singer of Skid Row. And I interviewed Jason Waller. He was on the show The Hills about 15 years ago. Huge mental health advocate and all about mental health and overcoming addiction. Our podcast is doing great. But again, Jeff, I'm a guy 11 years ago was sitting, right? It's this month, 11 years ago, it's September. September is still right now. 11 years ago, Jeff, I was literally cleaning myself up, getting myself dusted off after somebody's maggot-filled trash was all over me. And by the way, Jeff, about 2 years ago, I had to file for divorce and I had to start all over again after that. So in November 2022, Jeff, I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, hating life. This is less than 2 years ago. I'm hating life. How did I get here? Why me? Poor me. But again, no knight on a white horse was coming to save me. I had to fix my mindset. I had to fix my attitude. Did that. Bought my dream home about 4 months after getting myself together, and things have been getting better ever since. Has it been a journey? You better believe it. Has it been hard? Daggone right. But not mindset is 95% of you being successful. So if you get that figured out, Jeff, everything else will work itself out.
I'm gonna start unpacking Marques' story. Let's go back real quick. You got drafted into the NFL, right? I mean, the percentage of people who play football as a sport, as a dream, to getting to the highest level. Marques, what is that number?
It's around like 0.01%, 0.015%, chance of you being drafted into the National Football League. It's so hard because there's only about 250 to 270 guys drafted each year out of college. That's it.
I'm going to ask you an interesting question.
Mhm.
Not other people's success, why they got drafted. Your success. If you had to break it down in a pie chart, talent, hard work, and grit, what do you think the reason why you got drafted is, if you had to contribute to those three things? Thank you for all your support to our channel. Here is a quick word from our sponsor. Please click on the link below in the comment section to sign up for a demo with Track AI.
What if your insurance sales conversations could work harder for you? Meet Track, your AI-powered conversation intelligence partner. Track automatically captures and analyzes every customer interaction, providing instant call summaries, risk analysis, and AI-driven coaching insights. Say goodbye to manual note-taking and hello to more selling time. Track handles the admin work while you handle the revenue. Fully integrated with your favorite platforms. Plus, get custom AI analysis tailored to your unique business needs. Transform your sales team's performance with Track. Visit track.ai today.
Click the link in the description below to schedule a demo with Track today.
30% talent, I would say 30% grit, I would say 40% hard work. I got known as a guy that was constantly in the gym, I got labeled a gym rat. And that is what you want from any football player, but especially an offensive lineman, because it is so hard on your body, Jeff. You're dealing with getting banged up, hit around, hit there. I saw, unfortunately, I'm not a Dallas fan, but I am a football fan, and I don't like seeing guys get injured. It's horrible. Micah Parsons got hurt last night against the Giants, and I saw it. The right tackle got bull rushed by the left defensive end. He hit him so hard, it shocked him, and instead of being able to brace himself and sit down, what we call it, sit on the bull rush, he couldn't sit. So he ended up getting knocked back. The right guard had a nice block on Parsons, trying to stretch him out from the quarterback. But unfortunately, the guard didn't see the right tackle getting bowled over. And so when he went to stretch out Parsons to push him out to the side, he hit him in an angle, but Parsons' leg got caught under the right tackle, who was falling down from the bull rush of the defensive end. And when that happened, he got caught what we call a crunch. His leg got stuck underneath the right tackle, but he was getting pushed over by the right guard, and his leg just went pop. So I could see it. And I'm like, daggone, man. Like, I feel bad. He's a hell of a football player.
He's a hell of a football player. What's the extent of the injury? What's the result?
I don't know what they said yet. I know they threw some testing. I'm hopeful it's just a minor sprain. But again, as a former lineman that has seen these type of things, I think it's pretty serious. I hope not. But again, that's the nature of that position. It is grungy. It is violence. It's in a small space. You have these huge human beings trying to tear each other apart. But that's why being labeled a gym rat was big for me to get drafted. People knew I was going to put the work in to stay healthy, because they're saying, right, Jeff, you can't make the club in the tub.
Pushing each other against will. Grown men paid to push each other against their will. Go back to your 30% on grit and 40% on hard work. If you had to name one inspiration for each one of those traits, what do you think that come from? Who do you think that come from?
So hard work came from my strength coach at Howard, Keith Camaforo. I was so fortunate that we hired him my last year, because he gave me confidence. But not just that, Jeff. He gave me the knowledge. He gave me the purpose. He gave me the direction of how to lift weights and how to do it in a way it built muscle mass, strength, stamina, physical ability to withstand the trauma of the position. And his knowledge gave me so much more fire to work hard my last year when it really mattered the most in the gym. Grit came from my father. My father and my mother got divorced when I was 8, and our father raised me and my brother by himself. My brother was 13 and I was 8 years old. It was absolutely the best thing for us because the grit that I learned from my dad and how to push forward, how to get up when life knocks you down, those are things that you can't teach. Those that you can like look at and observe, and you either get it or you don't. So I got that from him. So hard work, Keith Camaforo, grit, my father, Cheryl Philip Ogden.
That's amazing that people leave footprints in your life. And do you think you have passed that footprint on to others?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I love doing in speaking, coaching. I have both my daughters. I've coached a lot of young men in football training since I moved here. I still have a couple of kids now that I train, and it's been really, really awesome. It's been great to watch these young men develop into great individuals, better players, but more important, better men, off the field. A lot of my kids now that I coached like, over a decade ago are grown, are married, are living their lives. I follow them on social media. It's so great to see a lot of these young men that are doing so well that I coached so long ago. But that's what it's about. It's about passing on the knowledge, right, Jeff, from that you learned to other people.
You see a lot of people speak, right? So when you go on these events, you're not the only one speaking.
Mhm.
When you look across the room, right, who are your favorite speakers that you love, athlete or non-athlete?
So when it comes to just in general, non-athlete, I love Mel Robbins, who's a mentor of mine. She's phenomenal. I love Tony Robbins, of course. He's fantastic. I love Les Brown. He is amazing. As an athlete, I would probably say my favorite speaker. I haven't seen him do much because that's not really his thing, but he does do some speaking. Is Ray Lewis. He was my teammate in Baltimore, one of the most inspirational, fiery guys ever. And what was great about him is that him and my brother were both considered horrible picks by the media. Why did we draft an offensive tackle? We don't need that. Why don't we draft an undersized linebacker from Miami that has no sideline speed and is undersized and can't do this and can't do that? Both of them. About this, right, Jeff? There's only been one other pair of first rounders that were both drafted in the same draft class, played their entire career with the same team, that both went into the Hall of Fame as first ballot players. Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis with the Baltimore Ravens, drafted in 1996. The last time that was done, Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers, drafted by the Chicago Bears. Both went into all their time with the Bears, first ballot Hall of Famers. Jonathan and Ray Lewis, all the time with the Ravens, both first ballot Hall of Famers. And they both were deemed bad picks by the media. That goes to show you, if you're listening, don't ever let somebody steal your thunder. Don't ever let somebody tell you what you can or can't do. Don't do that. You have it in here, your heart and your mind. If you believe that they connect, you can achieve greatness.
Gale Sayers, just random plug-in. You mentioned that name, and I love football. I play fantasy football, right? I never played professional, but he was one of the best running back that doesn't get any love. Yeah,
because he didn't play that long. But on top of that, the Bears weren't very good his entire career. That's the problem. When you're a great player,
today too,
and you get overshadowed. I know you get overshadowed by a team not winning. It doesn't help you as you're trying to grow a brand outside of just being a player on that team. When your team is losing, it's not great for you as a brand, unfortunately.
Just go back to your brother and Ray. Like, they're not just amazing football players, but they're amazing for the community because I live here in the DC metro area. We call it DMV. And all those Raven players between Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, your brother, I mean, they always in the community, always involved, and they are like heart and soul of Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, because they understand it's not just about what you do in your craft or on the field. It's about building a brand that is more recognizable than the work that you do. That's why people like Tony Robbins are so successful in everything they do, or Brendan Bouchard, Brene Brown, Mel Robbins, Les Brown, because people recognize them as a brand over the speaking or the coaching or the communities, things like that. They were disruptors in their certain space. And if you want to be successful in insurance or anything else, build your brand first, because when people know your brand over what you provide, you're always going to be more received well and sought after for your services.
You and I doing this podcast, and I'm on your LinkedIn, and I want to get to this, right? Because you have a lot of things going on your LinkedIn. You are building a brand. So can you talk a little bit about your brand outside the podcast and the motivational speaker thing? You have quite a few other things going on. Can you put a little light into it?
Yeah. So I am a breakthrough specialist and mentor. So whatever we do, speaking, business coaching, corporate consulting, podcasting, having different businesses that we own part ownership in, anything that's around helping people break through to the next level, we are all about it. And again, we have our podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. Like, that's a big thing. People love it. But again, it's a breakthrough product. We're trying to help people break through struggles, hardships, difficulties, hard times. And that's why, Jeff, I said people like Marques, how did you get Scott Page on that? Well, Scott and I met on a business, panel, and we hit it off. And Scott said, man, you're just authentic and you're genuine, you're positive. You want to help people get to the next level. You want to help people break through. We're now friends. Sebastian Bach, his people said, man, this podcast is really good. He gets on half hour. He said, wow, best interviewer we've ever been on, like positive, like so uplifting, right? You help people break through. So everything we have, Jeff, is tied to either authenticity or breaking through. Because at the end of the day, we want to be known as a person, as a brand that helps people get inspired. So again, our mantra, inspire you to take accountability. Inspire you to say, there's nobody coming to save me. No knight, no white horse. You have to be the CEO, as Jack Del Rio said when I was 22 years old, of your own life. If you're not, all you're going to do, Jeff, is go through life, and whatever people decide to hand you, you'll say, okay, I'll take it. I don't have anything. Sure, I'll take it. Whatever. You're not going to go out and get what you want because you're not actually going out. For example, good friend of mine has got a really great job with a nice big company. He was on our podcast. We were chatting. I'm going down to Jacksonville for Jaguar Legend Weekend. He lives there. We're going to get together. We're going to be chatting in October around us working with him as a leadership instructor and doing consulting. Right, Jeff? He said, Marques, love what you're about. You're going to be a perfect fit. But how we meet, right? We met through the podcast. We chat about how to help people break through. When he came on my show, right, Jeff, he did not have that job. But I didn't care. Man, good guy, good story. He can help people. Let's go. And now he's in that seat, a 2,000 employee company, $500 million a year doing in revenue. And he is going to be he's the president now. He'll be the CEO shortly. And from there, we'll be right alongside him doing leadership training, consulting, helping them grow, helping them to grow the company to the next level. But it all starts from, right, Jeff, breaking through. Without the podcast, we would not be sitting here with him right now.
That brings up a very good question. There's a lot of listeners of this podcast that's in the insurance industry.
Mhm.
The next 2 years, the numbers are between anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000 senior leadership and just people in general who's been working insurance for 25 to 45 years. They're all going to retire.
Mhm.
So they find their identity in their job, in their work. And when they go into retirement, not everybody, going to Margaritaville, play golf, play with grandkids. So for those of them that want to build their own brand, that want to build their own consulting, that trying to figure out what is next for them, how would you, let's just say it's me, you're giving me advice and I'm retired after 35 years. How would you walk me through that step of how to identify myself, where to go into in consulting? Because the industry is going to need a lot of voice, a lot of void of experience, knowledge is all gone now, right?
So, Jeff, I would tell you to create your vision of what you want to do in retirement. Are you going to do coaching? You want to do consulting? You want to work, like I won't say a full work schedule. You want to work half. Are you wanting to travel? Are you wanting to not? So it comes back to your vision, right? Once we have a clear, concise view of your vision, at that time, right, Jeff, we'll start building. Okay, so your vision is to work, let's say, 20 to 30 hours a week. Great. All right, so what can you do with that? You do a little bit of coaching, a little bit of consulting. Check. Do you want to travel and go out and speak and make that part of your time you do? Yes, I do. Great. Check. So now we're looking at speaking and getting out there and sharing. So then we would build for you a brand around what is your mantra? What do you stand for? When people hear your name, see your picture, what's the first thing they think of? Jeff, for us, when people see us, people either think, a lot of people now thinking authenticity. Like, that's our show, that's what I always talk about, or breakthrough. That's what people think about us. That is what, when they see us, that's what we're known for. We would help you create a mantra. So when people see you, they know what to expect. Then a mission statement. What is it that when people hire you, they can expect to gain from you? Then after that, we'll get into branding, marketing, sales, ops, and finance. 5 pillars of any successful business, period. So that's how we would do it. Identify how many hours you want to work. Identify the ways in which you want to fill those hours. Once we've done that, anything you want to add on, you want to take away, great. What's your mantra? What's your mission? And we start with your branding. Then we go to your marketing. Then we go to how you sell yourself. Then we go to how you operate, then how you collect. And we go from there.
I want to touch up on one thing you just mentioned, marketing. A lot of people don't understand how to brand themselves. I see them on LinkedIn and they have a good profile, right? But they don't have followers. What do you think attract people on followers on LinkedIn, on social media about authenticity? Can you go into a little bit about that? Because people get lost here.
So here's the thing, right, Jeff? You have to be you. The implementation steps in authenticity: be vulnerable, be real, be you. And here's the thing. If you're not posting on social media, if all you do is just show up and look at other people's posts, occasionally like something, occasionally comment on something, that's not posting. That's not getting your message out. I have an individual who contacted me about coaching around this very topic. He's a great guy in business. He's in banking. He's got a lot going on, but he doesn't have a presence on social, doesn't create videos, doesn't post, doesn't engage. I said, well, then, man, all you're doing is you're really looking at the whole process going forward, right? You're just not hitting every aspect that you need to hit. So again, it's so crucial in that regard. So crucial. So crucial. So again, right, man, you got to step up and you got to get in the game and you got to do what you got to do to get moving.
Anybody that you have looked across, you said, man, this is a former athlete. They have really built a fantastic brand afterwards. Anybody that you look up to, that you like, hey, I respect the game.
A good one. He didn't play professional football, but he played college football. Is Inky Johnson. He played at Tennessee. Great player
I'm
at
familiar with Inky's
Tennessee.
story.
Unfortunately, had the injury happen in his
Yeah.
career, but has a great brand around himself and overcoming and grit and tenacity and not letting life, not letting failure have the final say. He's done a
Yep.
fantastic job in that regard.
I actually heard him speak on YouTube, and I recommended him to 4 other event people I knew, and he got them speaking. Marcus, if want to see you, I'm sure I'm gonna see you, and we're gonna do a interview at Vegas, at ITC Vegas, up and coming in the next year. When I have you back on the podcast, will be a comfortable goal for Marcus coming up, and will be an uncomfortable goal for Marcus coming up.
A comfortable goal would be, 50 plus speaking events a year. That's always comfortable. Uncomfortable is building our mindset community with all the moving parts, all the experts, all the contributors, everybody coming in, because a lot of online communities have a 90% dropout rate of people not wanting to stay. But what we're doing, the community is not about me. It's about mindset. It's about collaboration, but also it's about other people coming in. It's about everybody contributing. Like my good friend Scott Page from Pink Floyd is going to be a contributor. My good friend Jose Escobar, who builds great communities and does very well, he's coming in. A lady named Sheena out of Colorado is coming in. We're bringing in other experts. We're bringing in people to share and make this community a larger way of impacting people for the better. So that's what it's about. So we're looking to build that. So that's an uncomfortable goal, because I've never done well in that area, is to build that where it's recurring income model, but we're helping the masses with content, with great people, with engaging people at that.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to catching up with you in Vegas. And for those of you audience in the listen to this podcast, I'm gonna put all the links of Marcus in the comment section below. So make sure you check out his page, follow him on LinkedIn, follow him on Facebook, and also all his podcast channels. So thank you, Marcus, for coming on the show, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
All right, goodbye.